And I am back again. I always have to preface this: no hair, no makeup. Hey, I already know as a woman, you guys are looking for something aesthetically pleasing. You're not going to get that right now. I have three little kids and I'm doing the best that I can to get some content uploaded. Let's get right into it. Why do I focus on Section 8 rentals even though I'm an expert in creative finance? People ask me this all the time. But you know how to buy houses with no money down, Ashley. So why are you using cash to buy houses? Ashley, but you already know how to get owner finance buyers in your properties. It's so much easier than dealing with tenants. So why are you still renting out your properties to Section 8 tenants? The short answer is because I was introduced to real estate by my friend and mentor, Rhonda, and that is her exit strategy. She does Section 8 rentals. I don't know about you guys, but as a black woman, it is very difficult for me to find other millionaires who look like me. So she was the first millionaire. I hate to put her business out there. I hope she doesn't get mad at me for that. But she's the first millionaire that I've ever had like a personal relationship mentorship with. And so of course I want to follow her blueprint because I don't want to have to reinvent the wheel. She obviously did it. It obviously works. Okay, now here's the true reason. Number one, owner financing is awesome. Subject to is amazing. It is. It has given me the capital to purchase many buy and holds. Well, let me first talk to you about what it is. Subject to is when I take over a home, subject to its current financing. That financing could be a mortgage that I'll take over, and so I'll begin making the monthly mortgage payments. It could be subject to tax liens. Then I'll take over the responsibility for paying the tax liens. It could be subject to a plethora of other things. The point is, there is still money owed on the property, and I'm going to purchase that property subject to whatever monies are still owed, and I'll take responsibility, not legally, but morally, to pay it. Owner financing is, let's say I take that same house that I purchased, and this is the current loan that's in place, right? Remember I told you I took this over, so here it is. With owner financing, I use something called a wrap, where I'm going to wrap a new loan around it. Very simple concept, but a little more complex to actually execute. Anyway, that said, there are three ways to make money in this transaction, right? So with owner financing, let's say I've already purchased this property subject to, I'm going to market it to a retail owner finance purchaser. They'll give me a down payment anywhere between 10 and 20%. So let's say if it's a $200,000 house, it'll be a $40,000 down payment at 20%. So that's a lot of cash up front. And so let me finish my point, then I'll get to what I really want to say. All right. In the middle of that, we have cash flow, right? So they're going to be paying me a monthly mortgage that's wrapped around the current mortgage payment that is on the underlying loan. So for a $200,000 house, let's say the mortgage is, I don't know, $1,500. And so I'm going to have the owner finance buyer paying me maybe $1,800 a month. So I keep the $300 profit in between. And then once that buyer is ready to refinance, then I get another payment on the back end where I am paid out the equity between what the buyer owes me and what is owed on the underlying loan. I explained that very simply. I obviously have a billion other videos that explain it in detail, but that is the gist of it. Back to the original question. Well, actually, that sounds great. I mean, you're getting a huge down payment, you're making cash flow in between, and then you get to cash out at the end of it. Why is that not your end game? Here's why, and I think coronavirus is really teaching all of us this lesson the hard way. Um, I don't like owing people anything. I don't like it. I like freedom, financial freedom. I'm willing to give up everything and live a minimal life just if that means that I don't have to owe anybody anything. That said, if I take over a property subject to, no, thank you, son. Even if someone else is going to be paying that mortgage and covering it with the owner finance, and I am not legally responsible for that payment, but morally I still am. And to some people that might not mean a lot, right? Well, your morals are your morals and my morals are mine. If I sign up to do something, I want to do it. And so then that puts me again under the gun for being responsible for these mortgage payments. I'm in a situation now, and I did a video about this yesterday. You can just check that out if you're interested in the foreclosure process for owner financing. But now with coronavirus going on, there are a lot of creative finance investors now who are having to give hardship discounts, or they're having to foreclose because people are in different financial situations than they were pre-COVID. Meanwhile, my Section 8 rentals are just as they were. Nothing has changed because those payments are coming directly from a federally funded government program through the Section 8 voucher program. Hi, Drew. Through the Section 8 voucher program. So nothing has changed. Also, I own these properties outright. I buy them in cash. I use the down payments that I get when I'm selling a property with owner financing, and I use that down payment to buy a house in cash, typically in a C/D neighborhood. And then from there, I get a Section 8 tenant in there to cover who pays me rent at market value because it's Section 8. Here's an example. My very first one that I did. I purchased the property for $5,000. We put about $15,000 into renovating it, so we were all in at $20,000. The market rent was $11.05. We got a tenant in there, and we've been cash flowing $11.05. It is 100% cash flow. There is no, sweetie, there is no underlying loan. There is no mortgage payment due on that. No hard money. None of that. All of that money goes into my pocket. That's just one. Imagine when you have 10 of those. So that's $10,000 in cash flow that I get every month. I don't have to pay anything on. I mean, I put some aside for maintenance, but other than that, my tenants stay. We redesign the houses and renovate them beautifully where they want to stay. So that is the strategy that I like the best. So I don't use owner financing. Stop. Okay, Drew, I like that you're here and I like that you're hanging out with me, but you can't, no, I don't want that in my face, okay? All right. Hey, go to your room, please. Or you can hang out, just don't put Teddy in my face. Anyway, so if you guys are new to my videos, I homeschool my children, and I never shush them or, for bothering me when I'm working. They're my number one priority. They are the VIPs in my life. I'm a mom of 3. It is what it is. This is real life. Anyway, so I do not use owner financing as my end game. It is just a means to my end, which is purchasing more properties in cash and then getting that cash flow coming in. High cash flow, right? We're talking $1,000 plus per property coming in every single month. Now, other people do. I mean, they enjoy having the owner finance properties as cash flow because in that realm, $250, $300 minimum. Thank you, Drew. Is $250 and $300 minimum is okay cash flow for them, right? But for me, that does nothing for me because I'm used to having at least $1,000 plus monthly cash flow coming in. So for me, number one, I had a mentor who showed me the way that she does it. She is a tried and proven millionaire. We have a lot of people out there acting like millionaires or pretending to be millionaires. She truly is one, and she did it the long way, the way that I'm doing it. And she did it in cash, the way that I'm doing it. It's one thing to make $1 million, but you owe $900,000. So you really only are $100,000, right? Whereas you look at my mentor and myself, every single dime that I get goes to me. Now, some does go to overhead. I do borrow some money from this rental business to finance some of my other businesses. But again, I'm borrowing from myself. No banks, no hard money loans. Is it sexy? Is it appealing as, these guys who are going out and getting all these $1 million loans and they're buying Ferraris and all that stuff? No, it's not as sexy as that, but it's real. I know my $1 million in the bank is real $1 million in the bank. It is not $1 million minus all of the people that I owe. I'm going on a rant. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Anyway, so that is my investment strategy. That is my end game. And what I like about it is it's not a hustle. With subject to and owner finance, it's still a hustle. There's a lot of marketing involved behind the scenes. Number one, with subject to, you have to get people to trust you. I mean, that is a big deal for someone to trust you with their credit, to trust you with paying their underlying mortgage. And then there's a lot of stress involved with it, especially right now what I'm going through with the foreclosure. Because if that owner finance buyer is not paying their mortgage, then guess who has to pay it? I do, because I signed up and told that seller that I was going to be responsible for it. So I can only imagine my creative finance investors out there who have 20 plus properties. And right now you have a lot of owner finance buyers who can't necessarily afford their mortgages right now. How do I avoid this? People used to always tell me I was crazy, right? When I first got into creative finance. I have my buyers refinance almost immediately. As soon as I get my owner finance buyer into the property, I get them involved with a loan officer and a credit repair person or agency, and we immediately start working on their credit and getting them refinanced. I get my cash out on the back end. Remember, I told you the 3 different ways to get paid: the front end down payment, the middle cash flow, and then the back end payment once they refinance out. And I get mine right off the bat, and I'm done with it. I do that for, and oh, if you don't know this, once they refinance, then it pays me off and it pays the underlying loan off. So now I have nothing to do with the seller anymore. That loan is paid off, and I have nothing to do with the buyer anymore. Whether they pay or not pay is up to them and the new lender that they are using. I don't want to be in the middle. I don't want the stress. I got enough kids to take care of. I don't want to be taking care of grown-ups about taking care of their mortgage payments. That's also why I use Section 8 for my tenants, because I don't want to be following behind tenants and telling them you need to pay, you need to pay. Nope, Section 8 pays me on time every single month. I don't even have to talk to my tenants about money. And I love that part about it. So if you were able to join me, I am so glad. I know I do my lives in the middle of the day, but that's what works for me. This little one is usually asleep around that time, but we're going to go outside and play for a little bit before he gets to bed. Anyway, I know this was a blessing to someone out there. I know someone out there was excited about getting into creative finance, and you didn't necessarily know some of those cons. And there was somebody out there today who was a little hesitant about getting into becoming a landlord, especially renting to Section 8 buyers or tenants, because they have such a bad reputation for no reason. Really, there's no reason for them to have that reputation other than personal bias. Anyway, and I know this helps somebody, and I know this changed somebody's investment strategy, which will ultimately change somebody's life and change their legacy. So you are welcome in advance. All I ask is that you subscribe, like, and share. You want to see your face on that?
Yeah.
Can you say hi and bye?
No, I don't see her. That's us.
Oh my gosh. All right, later, Gators. It's nap time for this little guy.